Okay. Um, if if Andrew, if you wouldn't mind, man, just over the years, all right, what you've seen, um, and I know I hear this a lot, like, man, there's no better time to do this business. But I went to the summer sales conference, the Ignite, okay? And you guys opened up the event, really not just saying why is the time, but showing us
Yeah,
and
yeah,
articulating why is the time. Okay.
yeah,
And this was the time that it's made the most sense to myself personally of why it's the time to sell and to hire. But if you could, man, take a few minutes and articulate why truly is it the best time to be in this space, but more importantly at FFL at this time.
yeah. You got it, bro. First of all, everybody on here, you're lucky to be working with Dom. He's a great dude. He'll do anything to help you, and it's not about money. It's about helping people. I love that affirmation thing. I want to get on here and do that with you guys. You do that every week.
Every week, dude.
I love that, bro. Um, the other thing I want to talk about, we've interviewed a bunch of people about like top producers, and you brought up our moms. Like we both cared about our moms because we had single moms took them on this trip, and it was like part of our goals. But a lot of people have said that I've asked, like, what's driving you? There probably about 50% of the top producers have said like, I want to take care of my mom, or I want to take care of my dad, or I want to take care of my someone in their family, which I always thought was super interesting. Interesting. Why the reason I think that um, right now is the best time to build is because this industry's been around forever. So I've always said like NLG had somebody on the Titanic. Mutual of Omaha has been around through two world wars, the Spanish flu, uh, COVID. They've always paid their claims. It's a great industry to be in. You know you're going to get paid. They've never not paid a claim they're supposed to pay. But the industry changed 4 years ago, Dom.
Mhm.
So with virtual sales, it's really only a 4 year old industry. It's not a 150-year-old industry. So
Mm.
what's changed? Now you got people who could work from home. They could work from anywhere. They could travel. Uh, they don't have to drive all over the country like we used to have to do to make sales. Leads are in abundance because they're not restricted by geography. And so what's happening right now, dude, it's like the gold rush is everybody's coming to sell life insurance with us, but it's just a matter of who they're going to end up with. So we got solar people, pest control, um, you name it. If it comes to sales, dude, this is the best deal. And I've messed around with a few other businesses like on the side, really part time, and it opened up my eyes to realize how amazing this industry is. There's nothing like it. So I just got a call this morning. Somebody said, "Hey, my neighbor joined FFL under a different team. Can I switch them?" And I'm like, "You've been here for 3 years. You never told your neighbor." Now, I don't know why they didn't tell their neighbor, but the point is like people are going to find out, and it's just a matter of if you're going to recruit them or not. Now, um, I'm actually driving Dom with Sean, and I know he's hard to get his time lately. So
Yeah.
I'd love to get on another day and do more, but I want to pass it to him because we actually have him here,
Dude, that's awesome.
and he wants to talk to you guys.
Talk about a special. We got two special guests. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, so dude, I'm gonna
Wow.
pop on another day. I'm gonna pass this to Sean, dude, because I want you guys to hear from him.
Dude, that is love. Awesome. Awesome. What up, big dog?
What up, Dom?
What's up, brother?
Just driving, bro. If I get in an accident, it's my fault no matter what. Even if they hit me, first of all, it's good to see you, brother. You're one of my favorite people in the entire world. And one of the few people that tolerated me 14 years ago when I was just a straight jackass trying to figure this thing out. So I appreciate you more than you know for that.
Appreciate you,
Um,
dude.
and I mean it, dude. You know how I feel about you. You're family to me. And like you and Andrew, I think about the years that have gone by and the things we've been through. And you don't find that in people in your life, man, when you're still around them. So I love you, brother, and thanks for letting me be on.
Oh yeah, man.
You know, it's funny. I used to work at UPS when I was, I don't know, 18, 19, 20. And I was at a intersection one day and got in an accident, which by law was like not my fault. Lady just hit me. Like she just straight hit me. And like I'm sitting there at a light and she ran a red light and smoked me. She was okay, I was okay. And my boss said it's your fault. And I said, I'm not. What do you mean? I'm confused. He said, our policy at UPS is when you're driving is that you're supposed to avoid everything. So if you get in an accident, no matter what the ticket says, it's your fault. And I really struggled with that at 18, 19 years of age. And then as I got older, I was like, wait a minute, man, what an amazing policy to have full and total accountability, because a lot of us don't have accountability for ourselves. You know, what Andrew's saying is right. If I had a time machine, I would stick all of you in it. I would take you back to Lisbon, Connecticut, where Dom and I worked. I would give you paper apps that are 17 pages long. I'd give you $50, $60 leads that were 10 years old. And I'd tell you to get in your car and go make sales. And I say that because it would help you develop. It would have built a thickness of skin. And some people may or may not have made it. Now, to Andrew's point, virtually now, the biggest issue prior to COVID was leads. Now there's no such problem anymore. Dom and I and 5 people, we'd stuff the state of Connecticut, Dom, right? Like you give us 7 of us, there weren't even enough leads. Connecticut, Mass, Rhode Island, we had that covered with like 6, 7 people. Then it was like, what airport do you want to fly out of? Where do you want to go run leads? So, and I agree with Andrew. I love the way y'all started off the call. The one thing I will tell you is that I learned a few, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 years ago that, you know, because of God, if we stay the course and we do the right thing, we're going to like all the glory goes to God, all of it, not pretend, not for fun, not to say it to manipulate people, because it's true. And I was sitting in church last week and I talked to the pastor for like an hour afterwards. He's great. Dude's my buddy. And I said, what do you mean by that? When you say like, you know, you have this thorn in you and you're like, God, like take it, whatever it is, whatever that thing in your life is right now. And he said, you know, nothing's by accident. And God, those thorns stay sometimes because he's afraid if they ain't there, your pride will take over and you'll lose everything. And pride is a, you know, so a lot of you that are new or just getting rolling in this business, it's a great business. It's a lot of work. It's a grind. I don't think it's failure when people say no. And so you say it's a lot of failure. I think failure is quitting. And I don't even know that death is failure because like you didn't like quit, like you go on a better place. But when you quit, that's failure. If you're like, dude, I've just done, I quit, then I think you failed and that's okay. And sometimes you need to quit something. Maybe you need to quit a job. Maybe you need to quit whatever it is, you know, maybe you need to quit. Hey, you know, I quit drinking and using. And one of my buddies said, man, I can't believe you quit. Nobody likes a quitter. And I'm like, dude, you're an idiot. But like that, like at the end of the day, Andrew's right. He painted a very eloquent picture for you of what this business looks like. I will echo what he is saying about you, Dom, because I like people that want to see people win. I like people that want to succeed. And I like people that breathe life into other people. I can't see any of you on the Zoom right now, but Dom, I don't need to. But if there's 10 or 20 or 200 of you, every one of you, and I promise you, could do my job if you wanted to, because it doesn't require talent. It does require. So if I run the company, that means you can do any job at the company. Because if you can do mine, then you can do any job. You might not want to do it. You might be annoyed with working with people. You might not like confrontation. But you could do it because it requires no talent. And I think the first thing you have to get about our business is everybody can do it. And you should applaud yourself. Those of you with your affirmations, applaud yourself for, and I like what Dom said. He's grown up so much more than I was. I used to say, if you think it's corny and you're a dude, I will punch you square in the mouth and you let me know how corny that was, mother. But we don't do that anymore. We're all grown up now. But my deal was I was defending what we believed, and I was defending who we are. I was defending the people that work with me. And this is a big family to me. So like, I want to see all of y'all win. But you have to win you. And those actions, you have to live that. Whatever that is for you. Also, the affirmations that's crazy to me is you wouldn't create a separate list of negative affirmations. Like you would never do that, but yet you do it every day. Most people, you don't really read the list, but you're like, you talk to your buddy, he's a moron. Somebody in your family tells you can't do it. You start thinking you can't do it. The enemy wants you to think you can't do it. And then you allow that to creep in. Some of you reading your affirmations today were like, dude, I'm so fired up. And some of you reading them are like, God, I wish I could believe this. And some of you are like, dude, I don't believe this at all about me. And you should believe it about you. I mean, you're built to be great, man. And this requires no talent at all. And I think that's the beautiful thing about business. When I was 19, 20, I was very blessed to meet successful business people. And what I learned was they weren't any better or smarter than we are. Andrew's right. I wanted to sell in real estate when I was 19 because I wanted to help my mom. That was it. I want to help my mom. My mom, we had no money, and I want to help my mother. I did not bring my mother on a trip. I would have never brought my mother on a trip. I will never bring my mother on a trip because she liked to drink a lot, and there's no way I'm responsible for that shit because who knows what's going to happen. I love my mom. I'll buy her own trip. She is not going with me, but I still honor her and I love her. You know, this thing's a grind. How many days a week do you dial? How long do you dial for? Do you take intentional breaks or you take a lot of breaks? Are you a good boss to you? You know, and if you can't learn to be a good boss to you, then you probably should go find a good boss. And there's nothing wrong with that either. The recruiting thing to me is what's amazing because I recruited everybody. Dom remembers my very first big agency was a dude named Gordon who never sold a policy. Well, Gordon made a lot more money than I did. Gordon's done very well, law practice, had some other businesses, but I recruited that fool. I was like, dude, you should look at what I'm doing. He's like, why? I'm like, you know, sell life insurance. It's like, dude, I'm not going to sell life insurance. I'm making like $2 million a year. I'm like, I don't mean you, fool. I mean, recruit people. I'll recruit them. I'll train them. Let's use your network and build you passive income. He said, passive income, I'm in. I'm totally in. And I think that from a business standpoint, this business is crazy, but like, don't sleep on it because it can leave you real fast too. You know, and I think that's when you hear people dialing and you hear them talking, it's that presumptiveness. You know, Dom goes way back. So I sometimes I wish we videotaped stuff we were doing back then. And a lot of times I'm so happy we didn't because that probably wouldn't have been so good. But man, there was no client I believe wasn't a client. I didn't care what it was, who it was, what I called. I would knock on the wrong doors. They'd be like, who are you? I'm like, here, we got this form. You didn't get it yet. They're like, I don't even know why you're here. I'm like, you want me to take my shoes off? Like, I was getting banking information. Like, it was, I just believed everybody was a client because everybody needs life insurance. And here's what you got to remember about our business. If you write nothing else down today, write this down. We have a need-based product. Need creates desire. So we got a need-based product, life insurance. Everybody's got to have that. As long as we don't screw it up. They got a need. They need life insurance. Everybody's going to die. That gets them to an action, fill out the lead, or gets them to the, to the desire and then to an action. And you have to approach it that way because I think a lot of times when I'm listening to people dial, I'm like, dude, they filled something out, right? They're like, yeah. I'm like, why are you calling them like that? I don't understand. I'm just saying, like, they filled it out. Why are you doing that? Like, why are you letting people treat you that way? Why are you, I don't know why you're calling me. I don't know why you're confused. You fill out a form and I'm doing what you asked me to do. Do you always get mad at people asking you to do? You always get mad at people that do what you ask them to do. You must be hard to be with. Anyway, can I confirm your name? Dominique Rogers. Yes, I don't want this. I don't either, Dom. Is it Dominique or Dom? Dom, whatever. Dom's for my friends. I'm like, we're friends, Dom. You tell me your personal information. Why do you keep yelling at me, Dom? I just got you on the phone. It doesn't matter. Like, you just keep it moving and have fun with it. And people don't mess with people that are not to be messed with. They just don't. They just don't. Like, at the end of the day, I was saying this to Andrew, and I've seen on a podcast, but I learned this when I was a social worker, for 14 years of abused and neglected children. Pedophiles didn't pick people. Like, that's why I always tell my buddies that have kids, be a badass. You're a dad. Be a badass. Be a dude that can handle his business, and be a dude that if need be, you need to get violent, get violent. Because what the pedophiles said when they did this nationwide study, what they looked for with the kids they were going to offend, the first thing they looked for was an incapable or absent dad to protect the child physically. Them dudes weren't trying to fight nobody. So I took that to heart. Now I walked around looking to smoke people. Why are you looking at me? Why are you making eye contact with me? But if you're on the phone and you're doing what somebody asks you to do and you're timid, they will push you around.
Yes.
Because when you're not in control, somebody has to be. You don't need to be rude. You never should be rude. You don't need to be unprofessional. You never should be unprofessional. But you can be direct. You can be strong. You can be passionate. You can do all of those things. And you have to do the same thing with recruiting. Well, I don't know if I can recruit. I haven't made any sales yet. What does it matter? Do you believe everybody's going to die? Yes. Do we have enough leads? Yes. Do you believe people are making money in life insurance? Yes. Have you met other people here making money? Yes. Then recruit people. Well, I'm not the best salesperson. Everybody can't be number one salesperson. We have some really good business. Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you something. Andrew, what's the most you ever sold in a year?
490.
490. Dude, when Andrew Taylor told me, what'd you say your close ratio was, Andrew?
25.
25%. He made me feel so bad about myself. I did, because I was like, can you imagine if I worked as hard as he did? Because he must have worked so much harder than me, because I'm like 92.7%. And I'm like, why didn't I sell? If I had a 20, I could have sold $2 million. So it really sobered me up. Like, dude, what a worker that guy is. Like 25%, and he made money, and he never claimed to be salesman of the year, but nobody out recruited him. So what? You have to be saying nobody's a better. I don't know if anybody's a better recruiter in the life insurance industry than Andrew, and I don't know that anybody is. I'm not kidding. I'm not saying that because he's here with me. I've said that plenty of times where he's not present. So, what are you looking to build? From an affirmation standpoint, what are your goals for the next 30 days, 60, 90 days? Financially, do you know what you need to make over the next month, 2, 3? What you need to make in the next year? Because your need creates a desire, creates your action. Or is it want? And if it's not, I mean, it's okay if it's want, but you got to figure out, like, what am I willing to do for that? And for some of you, I'm going to challenge you. I don't know how many of y'all got kids, but man, it's mind-boggling, because I remember people would say to me when I was young around me, man, I would do anything for you. I would kill for you guys. I'm like, bro, you don't even help my mom. Like, you don't even work for us. Like, you wouldn't kill for us. You don't even go to work, bro. Like, everybody has all these things they say because it sounds good. This business requires a heart. It requires you being willing to work and grow. You got to grow every day. It requires you to be accountable and be a good boss of yourself. But none of those are talents. All those can be created. If you go, well, my drive's not there. Yeah, but dude, you can create that. People are like, well, if you don't have drive, it's either in you or out of you. I'm like, who told you that, dude? Did God call you and tell you? What are you talking? I've seen plenty of people in my life that don't have a drive for 2 months, and then all of a sudden, that's not true. That's not who you are. Plenty of times people aren't driven to decide. They change things in their life, self-image, the needs, whatever it happens to be. But please, you started yourself off with these amazing affirmations. Please don't pollute your mind with negativity. And culture is really important. And if you want to laugh one day, you ask Dominique Rogers how we policed that culture 15 years ago. You want to laugh, bro. If we had a camera back then, we would be viral, and I might be canceled. Because I was challenging every dude to a fight. It was, and we said some things, bro, that would but Dom, go ahead.
To kind of to that point, I think about 14 years ago, and the way things were structured, even the zero board, the pink board, okay? And today, what I mean, but why? And when you said, man, if you go a week without selling, the insurance commissioner should just literally just take away your license. And I remember when I started how impactful that statement was to me, and really what it meant. Like, it was about the people, not so much what we had going on in our lives. So how do we separate what do we need in our life from the mission of going out there week in, week out and making this thing happen, regardless of what's going on in your life or what you need?
Well, I think, listen, dude, I think serving people and providing value is a need for us. I think we need to do that, in the world. I think it's hard to have in my opinion, a very, satisfactory existence when you're not impacting anybody. It's hard. I really don't know that you can do that. And for me, Dom, I used to say that all the time about your insurance license, not because I was like, oh my God, you need to sell X amount to buy X amount of cars. I care less about that.
Right.
Dude, every lead was somebody that could pay, every lead was somebody that will die. It's just a matter of when. And one of the biggest blessings I had, and I wish it didn't happen for the family's sake, was to have that death claim, a couple months into my career of a dude in his 30s. And that shook me to my core. And I was like, dude, that guy was healthy. Like, never would you convince me that would happen. So, it's when you start realizing how gratifying this is, and we get paid to turn the public. I do. I was like, you got to dial that. I'm like, get to dial today. I'm like, no, dude, I get to dial. I get to call people to ask for help in the phone, deal with their crazy asses, have some fun, talk some junk, get them policies, protect their families, and get paid. I get to do that. I don't got to do it. I get to do it. And I think that, Dom, that was what always came. So I'm having a bad, it doesn't mean people won't die. Did I lose him here, Drew?
No, I hear you, bro.
All right, sorry. Andrew's got 76,000 notifications from all. He's got a 27-digit passcode too. All right, that was good. That was like the Pentagon up in there. All right, but Dom, I really think that when you start thinking about other people and what we do, and once it became about families, not about income for a lot of people, it changed. Dude, there's nothing wrong with making money. Go make money. Dude, you should make money. It's a capitalistic society. I wanted my kids to live a different way. I didn't want to worry about I wanted to give money back. If people were in need, I wanted to help them. I wanted to do all that. But and also, why have your insurance license if you're not going to do anything with it anyway? Like, why get it? What would you have it for? Like, I didn't keep my real estate license. When I stopped using it, I let it expire. I wasn't like, this is cool. I want to accumulate licenses. That would just be way like, I was like, they're like, it's expiring in my office. I'm like, what do I want it for? I don't even use it. They're like, you don't want to keep it? I'm like, no, I don't use it. Like, why would I want it? There's enough people out there not doing anything, not helping. So I think we're thinking like, got to, everything changes, bro.
Sean, you went to there's a Lacey is on here now. I don't know if she can speak, but I want to kind of, if you can hit on the importance of going to local lock-ins. What have you seen from people? Why go? I know when she went, she actually got to meet you at one, and you asked her a question about, why is she afraid of the phone when everything she's went through in our life? And I think all of us, none of us have the market cornered on life, but I think some of our fears in business are nowhere near the stuff that we've gone through personal, but somehow we forget. All right. But she got it from going to a lock-in. So can you kind of those lock-ins and kind of what you meant by that?
Yeah, dude. I mean, dude, first of all, and I'm not saying all, but first of all, everybody's been through something in life. So I'm not ever going like, oh my God, I got the market cornered because my childhood was so effed up. You know what I mean? You might go like, man, my childhood was perfect and that was annoying. I mean, like, I'm not trying to be funny. Like, we all have stuff, right? But a lot of us that are drawn to being independent contractors, self-employed, take care of my own destiny. A lot of us didn't like and didn't trust the people that took care of our destinies when we were younger. So we're like, dude, we're going to take control of ours. That's why a lot of social workers are messed up. Like, I can tell you that. I worked in that industry 14 years. We were all kinds of screwed up. I was like, isn't it ironic that we're drug addicts and alcoholics and we're out giving people advice? Like, this is like pretty funny. You know what I mean? And we got like criminal records. Like, this is pretty funny, And, but what I meant and what I say a lot in a lot of these meetings when I meet people, first of all, lock-ins are crucial if you can get to them because getting around people is huge. Inconvenience is awesome for your business. The more you'll inconvenience yourself, the better off you'll be. Because that's how you that's like how you get blessed, right? Is the inconvenience you go through. And by the way, we all can look back and have shame. I can. That's a hard one to get rid of, dude. Shame. Like, the guy said to me the other day, he said, dude, you can't say you're honoring God when you keep looking backwards the entire time. Point up and look forwards, bro. Like, he's got that. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't learn from what you went through. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be accountable for what you did. It doesn't mean that you should go, man, I don't want to do that again if whatever it happens to be. But you can't spend your entire life looking backwards. Like, okay, dude, you made mistakes. Well, welcome to the human race. And it doesn't mean that you just get to go make a bunch of mistakes and go, well, that's what we always get to do. No, I mean, that, at the end of the day, you repent, I get it all. But man, Dom, we're so hard on ourselves. Like we're so hard on ourselves. And if you think about what's the hardest thing you've been through in life, and every one of you's got a story and dude, you tell me that was harder. You tell me that wasn't harder than calling somebody that asked you to help them. That's where I kind of get messed up. Like even when I started, people were like, well, you're so blessed. You were a social worker and you worked with all these situations. And I was like, dude, you've had situations in your life that were uncomfortable that you grew out of. And you know who you are when you get through those. Like, you know who you are. Like every time I kept surviving the shit I was going through, I'm like, I know who I am. That's what my mom would say. She's like, you know who you are. Your brother knows who he is. You know who you are, Sean. I'm like, I don't even know what you mean, but okay, Mom, sounds good. I was little. She's like, you know who you are. You're a protector. I was like, okay. So a lot of y'all been through stuff, dude. Why do we forget about that overnight and go like, oh my God, I'm terrified of, and again, what can happen? Like, what happens? What, like, I call you and you say, no, that's the thing I'm really struggling with. I'm like, dude, what are we so worried about? But then again, human nature. You can do a call or you can do a meeting and you can ask people to have questions, and they have questions, and they want information, they want to get better, and they won't ask them for fear of rejection of their peers. Thankfully for me, I've been looking for rejection my whole life, and I found it. But I kept moving through. I was never afraid to ask anybody anything ever. Never. So that's what I mean, Dom. Have some perspective of the things you've gone through and things you've survived.
Right. 1000%, man. Well, Sean, dude, I want to thank you for your time, man. I really do. And this group here, this is a group that I think everybody here is less than a year about. And a lot are just getting moving and getting 20, 30, $40,000 a month and trying to get there consistently. And this has been the best business ever for me personally, and to share this with everybody on here and with you, Sean and Andrew, dude, has been a great, great, great life. And I look forward to the next, dude, 14, 15 years of this and
Yeah.
helping these men and women get to where they need to be.
Dude, so do I. What y'all should do right now, I'm a big public accountability. Like, that was my thing. I remember when I got sober, my buddy Mike Rooney said, tell everybody you're getting sober. I'm like, dude, why? Most of you goes, you need the public accountability, bro. Everybody's got to know. Like, you drop in the chat right now how many apps you'll write. Today's Friday. How many apps you'll write in the next 7 days. And someone do it. So if it's 1, it's 10, if it's 114, come down. But like, how right in the next 7 days? How many families will you protect in the next 7 days? And, and I think you hold each other accountable and you talk about it and you share. 21, Zach Johnson. Okay. I mean, good for you. I believe you, dude. I don't know. I mean, believe you. Why not? But how many apps will you write? And we just don't write our goals out, Dom, and then we wonder why we miss. We don't talk about them. Isaac Cruz, 10. Good for you, bro. 10's a big number. And if your biggest number is ever 2, put 3. Ain't nobody. There you go. Look at that. I didn't even know that was going to happen. Look at that. It's brilliant. Kale, man, missed it. Matthews. Like, dude, who cares if you've never written 1? The next week you want to get 1. Dude, everyone counts. Everyone counts, man. 15, 5, 3. Like, dude, please. And then you go, hey, man, this is what I'm going to do. Stick to it. Bam, I got it. All right, next week, maybe it's 1 more. Hey, maybe it's the best week ever. You've never done more than 3 and you got 5. You're like, hey, I just want to do 5 again. Do it. But please, the numbers, because you can't beat the numbers. They can't beat you. If you put in the work, dude, and you're focused on it and you have structure and short-term goals, you'll be successful. So, all right, Dom, and I didn't tell Andrew to give it to me, dude. He's just slick like that. He wanted to see if I could drive and not get in an accident, and I've been successful. And I only got 1.5 miles left. So, hey, it's always good.
Hey, I'll never forget when we were about to go down in the airplane and Andrew. I'll never forget that.
What happened?
Remember in the airplane? Remember
you were with us then?
Remember it was acting funny over Dallas? Andrew thought we were
remember
down, and you're like, hey, if there's anybody, you're with me. Just so you know, like, if anybody's going to survive, I'm going to survive. Dude, and everybody on here, I promise you, it was the most turbulence anybody in their life has ever been in, okay? And we're on this little plane. And my man is sitting there with complete straight face going, I'm going to, like, we're going to survive. Like, I'm going to, like, we're going to be okay. It's like, And Andrew's like, dude, get me off of this plane now. Andrew don't like flying at all. Okay, at all. If he could drive
No,
everywhere, he would.
I
So
don't mind it anymore.
You know what? That's what happens. It gets really bad tripping. I fall asleep.
Yeah.
He's like, "How do you fall asleep?" I just get like really relaxed. I'm just ready to go to sleep. I'm walking off that motherfucker. Though, I
No,
promise
dude,
you
it's
that.
the worst when there's a storm and you're telling them to land it, and they're like, "We can't."
Yeah,
You're like, dude, just land it.
yeah,
Get
they
me
don't-
off this plane.
They don't like that, dude. Yeah, it's been a trip, man. But Dom, I got a lot of love for you, and I'll tell you what, Dom, you 38, you looking 20. So at 60, you're gonna look 30. So you're doing pretty good, brother.
hey, you doing
But it
well
is-
yourself, bro. All
I'm
right.
trying to keep. I got to keep up with y'all, bro. I got to age backwards, man. Now that I get like I got to age backwards. So,
You got Benjamin Button. All right. There we go. All right,
That
y'all.
is a
Much
fact.
love, you
That is
guys.
a
Thank
fact.
you so much, bro.
Right back. Hey, thank you, brother. See y'all. Thanks for letting me get on.
Right on, dude. Thank you.
Later.
All right, squad. We'll get this